Hey guys, so back with the weapon structure follow-up video. So today we'll just get on track and we'll be ready by the end of this tutorial to add some real guns, add something like the Omni Range, a glove that shoots bombs, but without the animations. The animations are going to take a while to finish, and as well as the other art like particle systems, projectiles, fancy decals, and all this good stuff are going to be added later in the game, which is what the working prototype right now that we can test on. So let's get started. First things first, I changed a bit the circular weapon picker again. Yeah, I know, it's kind of annoying. So I just added this text block right there and made it a variable as well. And on our graph, I went ahead on the tick and grabbed the current weapon based on the current index from the player character, as you can see here, and then I grabbed its name and I set the text of the weapon display name text according to that weapon. So when we play, it's just going to show weapon or whatever the name of the picked weapon is. So, and we can later display stats, etc. That's kind of another story, more of a UI based. So yeah, that's basically it for that. Now I made a new save game class called roster save, which is actually an array of strings. I'll talk about it later. And I altered a bit the weapon ammo class. So we've got a function and I changed the variables. So we've got the quantity max and quantity minimum ammo, because for example on a pistol you'd want to get from, I don't know, 50 to 100 rounds per ammo drop, but on a sniper rifle you would want to get 5 to 10 ammo per drop. So that's that. So we just do a random integer in range from min and max from the get ammo quantity, and we return the quantity on the return of the function, and the weapon, which would be the instance of the weapon we want to add the ammo to, just because we don't have a working hash map, I would say, blueprints or map in general that can give us the weapon instance of the player based on the weapon ammo object. So we'll just do that to have a callback from the weapon. You will see how this is getting incorporated with that as well. So on the third person character, I did three. Basically, I changed one and I added a couple. So first things first, the ammo drop. When a enemy dies, there's a slight chance that ammo drops. The same thing happens when we destroy a crate that's got ammo inside. So we're basically doing a while loop and grabbing random integers in range. So we'll grab a random weapon of the roster and check if its max ammo is greater than 0. Now remember, melee weapons and weapons that don't require ammo have a max ammo capacity of 0. So if it's not this kind of infinite ammo weapon, we just set our selection complete to true and we return a weapon ammo class and a loop weapon instance. So when we later spawn that, when an enemy dies for example, we're just going to spawn a weapon ammo from this class right there, and then set this variable, the weapon value, to our loop weapon right there, which is these two actually are local variables, so visible only inside the request ammo, so we keep some organization going on. So yeah, and then later when the player picks up the ammo, we know what weapon instance to access, so we don't have to read through the save files and determine which weapon is what and update the ammo there. So RAM only. Now the roster save. We want when we initialize our roster, we want to be able to load the guns we had equipped previously, the previous time we played the game again. So we will use another save game object, which is the roster save, and has this array of strings. Now, why an array of strings and not an array of actual weapon classes that we made earlier? Because we only initialize a weapon on the beginning, and it does it by itself. So here in the begin play, it will just load the presets from the disk. So we want a way to just store the names of the weapons we want to load and then just grab them. So it may seem kind of a pain in the ass, but if you do it gradually while you add more and more weapons, it's a pretty cool system and it's pretty easy. It's called weapon name to class. So we've got only one weapon class, which is called weapon, so you won't be seeing much here, but as the series progresses and we add more weapons, this switch thing is going to get bigger. So we grab a weapon name, and based on its value, which could be something like Omni Wrench or Bomb Glove or something like that, we return the appropriate class that we will then use to fabricate the weapon object of our choice and make the player equip it. Now, how do we do that? This magic happens on the gun roster init. So there we go, just behind the weapon picker init. So if there is a save game slot with slot name of weapon roster, we will read everything from the disk. But if it's not, we will just do the previous logic where we just populate the array with weapon classes of the weapon parent class that actually do nothing and just stand there, so we avoid null references and empty variables. So if there is a save game slot, we'll read from it, cast roster save. Now, for each element of the weapon roster, we're going to do a for loop, grab the name to class function I talked about earlier, spawn the actor on our actor transform, and basically it's the same logic as this one, but in this part the class is changed and it's determined by this logic right there, which is the name to class with the array element from the for each loop. So they're exactly the same, and then we'll just hit the gun equipped to 0, so we want to get the first available gun. Now, how do we actually, that's basically. So how do we actually save? I've done the save function. This will in the future be used to do our whole game save. So as we add elements, I'm going to cram them into several or different save game classes, and I'm going to update the logic of the save and load accordingly. On the save it will be on one spot, on the load it will be where exactly the initialization of the component we try to load is needed. So we first create the save game object from the roster save class, and we cast the roster save. Then we actually do here two stuff together, so we'd avoid some time consuming and stuff. Instead of saving each weapon by itself with its save custom event, if you remember from the previous tutorials, we actually save the weapon, also add its name to our weapon roster array that we're going to save, and while we have looped through all the weapons and have actually saved the weapon state of each weapon, we then save our configuration, which is the names of the weapons we've equipped and want to use. So yeah, that basically it covers it up for this tutorial. In the next one we're going to do some defaults, some stuff, some icons. We'll hopefully add a new weapon, the Omni Wrench or the Bomb Glove. And thanks for watching, see you next time, peace.